You're listening to the Heat Ratio Podcast, brought to you by the Heat Ratio Sports Network. This show brings the temperature of sports to a whole new level. Whether it's a local opinion or a national agenda, everything is fair game. Remember, everyone has an opinion, but only few can back it up. Now sit back, crank up the volume, and if you think you can handle it, get ready for the Heat.
What is up, everybody? We are live, Heat Ratio Sports. I'm your host, Tony Cotillo, joined by Coach Dave Dixon, Pittsburgh John Coker, and Dan Green taking a spot for Mikey Googs. He's coming from the fantasy realm and giving us the local aspect, which I love. And there's a lot of local aspects that we're going to talk about on this show. Al checking in. What is up, Al? I know Al's watching that NBA preseason game, which I love, which I will watch later. Hopefully we see some good stuff there. But a lot to talk about on this show, okay? We're going to talk, obviously, listen, Jalen Hurts leads the Eagles to victory over the hottest team in the NFL. But how long will it last? That's the question. Is it, is this a one-game effect? Is this going to continue? Who knows? The Carson Wentz, Doug Pederson problem. Ron Jaworski comparing Jalen to Randall Cunningham. Very interesting. Return of Miles Sanders. A reborn offensive line. And a Browns-Ravens game of the century. I know John probably liked that. And could Baker Mayfield be better than Lamar Jackson at the end? I mean, that's an interesting question. And a couple things. What's happened to kickers in the NFL? The Phillies hired Dave Dombrowski. Does this change your opinion of the team? And is Luka Doncic the best player in the NBA? Nobody talks about, but fellas, right off the bat, you know where we're going. The Eagles with a tremendous win. No matter if you're a Carson guy or you're a Jalen guy, a tremendous win against the hottest team in the NFL. In my opinion, the best defense in the NFL. A lot of different things to talk about. A lot of different things when we talk about the game plan, what happened. One thing I am just going to say, I'm not going to go off on these tangents like I normally do because I just want to get everybody's opinion out there. One thing I have to ask again is Jalen Hurts, how many times was he sacked? 0. Again, I don't want to hear about the game plan. I don't want to hear, obviously they changed the game plan. It's a different quarterback. Of course you're going to do that. But again, at the end of the day, it's exactly what I've been saying since week 5. When you get a mobile quarterback in there, he covers up some of the deficiencies that we already knew that were apparent. But again, if Carson Wentz is the leader of that team in that game, guess what? They lose. Not only do they lose bad. Okay, that's completely different. Now, again, is this going to be a one-game wonder? I don't think so. I think this is going to be a continued improvement on Jalen Hurts. I think he played very, very good. Am I saying Carson Wentz will never play football again? No. But I'm telling you right now, I'm going to leave it at this and go right to Dave. Carson Wentz will not play football in Philadelphia again. Dave, right to you, buddy. How you feeling?
I feel great. How you guys doing?
Blessed, man. Blessed. Feeling good, brother.
So, okay, what do you want me to say? Jalen Hurts played an excellent game. I'm excited as an Eagles fan. I know you and I had some conversation back and forth on Facebook about our disagreements, if you will. But honestly, the only thing that I was talking about were facts, as far as my opinion is concerned, about the offensive line being switched as many times. They're not excuses; they're facts. And I think if the Carson apologists, if you will. I'm not a Carson apologist. I'm an Eagles fan first. I don't care. I said this out loud. I said this in black and white. I don't care if Humpty Dumpty's quarterbacking his team. I want to win a Super Bowl. I don't really care. I think the problem is that people are getting hung up on their loyalty, if you will, to one person or another. Let's flip-flop the names. Let's say Jalen Hurts is Carson Wentz. Not too long ago, this was a situation between Nick Foles and Carson Wentz. Who's our guy? Who are we going with? And this is another situation where you're going to have to make a decision. The organization is going to have to make a decision, and that's how it's going to go. Whatever they decide is going to be our fate as fans. Now, my arguments have been, what has the organization done to help Carson get better? And my opinion was drafting Jalen Hurts didn't help Carson Wentz. Is that a fact? To me,
did it help Carson Wentz?
Right.
No.
It didn't help Carson Wentz. Right. It did not. That was my argument. If Carson Wentz is your guy, you don't draft Jalen Hurts. You don't.
So wait, hold on. Let me keep you there. So what would have helped Carson Wentz at 53?
Another playmaker.
Okay.
Denzel Mims.
Okay, so are we saying offense? Obviously.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
So everybody wanted Jeremy Chin. Everybody wanted Pat, right? We should have drafted Jeremy Chin. He's a defensive player.
Not me. I didn't.
No,
what I'm saying is a lot of people were talking about that.
I'm with Dave.
Right? I'm not saying you, Dave. I'm just saying a lot. I hear the name Jeremy Chin a lot out there. He's on the defensive side of the ball.
And an excellent would have been an excellent pick, but that's not where I would have went there. If I'm claiming to you that Carson Wentz is my guy, I would expect the organization to give him everything he needs to be successful. Him, and the player that you just devoted all that money to. It's such a mixed bag of emotions here and mixed messages by this organization. I compared Jalen Hurts to you. I said, he's Lamar Jackson or Russell Wilson? And out of the two, which one do you want him to be? In my opinion, I want him to be Russell Wilson.
Me too.
Right? So if he becomes Russell Wilson, do you think that I'm mad that Carson Wentz left to Indianapolis and you got a 2 and a 4 from him and they took the contract? No, I'm not. My whole problem with this program, and if you replayed every show we did, it would be defending the quarterback that we had named the starter. That's it. They didn't get him enough guys. The offensive line sucked. The play calling sucked. Now, how about this? Doug Pederson, how did he do coaching? How was his game?
He did better.
He did well, right?
Right.
His record is 11-2 without Carson Wentz.
But what did I tell you on this show? He had a bunch of plays ready to go for Jalen Hurts, right?
You did.
And he did.
But tell me something, Tony. Do you think I would say that the runs, the designed runs for Jalen were the only really things maybe different? But here's the other part. His rollouts. How many 3 to 5 to 7 step drops did Jalen Hurts take in that game? Do you know?
Probably 0.
No, I'm going to say 4.
Okay.
And I don't know the stat exactly, but he had him on a roll. He had him out of the pocket, which helps with a deficient offensive line because that's what they are. They're not a good offensive line only because they don't have enough experience. You had 2 rookies that playing on the right side, right? And I keep going back to Mailata, who you guys know I love Mailata, but they're inexperienced and they're not that good right now. Doug Pederson, and when I said to you, Tony, you said one player makes a difference. And
yes,
I disagree in this sense.
Okay.
I disagree because only reason why I disagree is all 11 of those players on offense, including the coach, made a difference in that game because you had 0 sacks, right? That's 5 offensive linemen helped create 0 sacks.
I wonder why.
Why do you think?
Because of Jalen Hurts.
Because he made quick decisions and got out of the pocket.
Exactly.
Right.
Something Carson couldn't do.
Something Carson didn't do. He held on to the ball and he was deficient and didn't do a good job of it.
Right.
There's no denying that. But all 11 and the coach had a better game and a better game plan, and it led to success. And I'm not taking anything away from Jalen Hurts. Don't mistake my words. He was a difference maker, but he wasn't the only difference. Right? A lot of things changed. How many drop passes from the wide receivers?
But here's the thing. You're right. He wasn't the only one, but he was the leader. He was the lead difference maker.
Just I think Doug Pederson was the leader.
Right? No, I don't think so. I mean, just like we talked about this show in nauseam about Carson Wentz for weeks about Carson. Even though we understood there's many deficiencies on this team, Carson was the main issue. Just like Jalen Hurts was the main spark and was the main reason why we won that game.
Can't argue that.
He changed everything.
Here's what I'm going to say before Dan and John, and I'll stop talking for the rest of the show if you want. Yeah.
Stop.
So I cannot explain this phenomenon about Carson Wentz. When other quarterbacks get in this system, they play well. And Carson, for whatever reason, it just seems like Carson is, I don't want to say jinxed, but this formula doesn't seem to work well for him. It just doesn't. And he might need a change in atmosphere as well. Now, Jalen Hurts gets hurt in his second game, and Carson comes in and rips it up. What's our agenda then?
That's why I'm going to say it, and I'll say it again. Carson and Jalen cannot be on this team together next year.
Yeah.
It can't happen. Dan, what do you think, buddy?
All right. Is this like a debate? I get 7 minutes now?
Yeah. Yeah, I just flipped over the timer. John's always last. John's always like, hey, I just want to talk for a second.
He's cool. I agree with Dave. Listen, I was a Carson Wentz apologist up until, 2 months ago, and then I saw the light. He's broken. He lost it. He holds the ball too long. Everything that Tony and Dave has mentioned, it's all true. Carson's a wreck, and I've lost complete faith in him. I mean, when Mitch Trubisky bounces back and looks the way he does, you got problems on your hand, because I don't see Carson doing that anytime soon. But getting back to Hurts, you don't design an offense around a quarterback that runs 100 yards a game. So that's a flaw right there. Most of the runs were not designed. They were just flat out probably one read and scramble, which I'd rather have than taking a sack. He was 17 for 30, 56% passing. So he didn't light the world on fire. I'm not saying he did very well, above my expectations. But he did face a Saints team that had 3 straight road games, a look-ahead game to KC. We had tape on Taysom Hill at this stage of the game, and they took the Eagles lightly. There's no doubt about it. So they weren't the awe-inspiring Saints that you referenced earlier, Tony, either on defense. That being said, it still was a hell of a performance. And like Dave said, whoever's our quarterback, I'm gonna root for. That doesn't matter to me. But wait till teams get film on Hurts before we anoint him. And he's going up against the Cardinals, who practice against Kyler Murray every day practice. So they should be used to a running quarterback. So the jury's still out. We shall see. And real fast before I let John get his turn, everyone wants to talk about we committed to the run game. Sanders, not really. Take away that big run, which your man Alexander missed the gap on, Tone.
Wow, yeah, that was a bad play.
And Sanders is 13 for 33 in the game. He was 14 for 105. You take away that big run, he's 13 for 33. They really didn't commit to the run, and Sanders really didn't set the world on fire. One big run because a guy missed a gap, and then the whole was like the parting of the Red Seas.
You're absolutely right.
There's still work to be done on offense. And again, Doug is not a genius because Jalen Hurts scrambled for 100 yards. That's not how you design an offense.
No, but right to John, I know Gene, and I love Gene's passion. And again, I have no problem. Everybody's opinion, I love it. He says, seriously, did you watch the game? Yes, I did. I'm not trying to be rude. I would never say you were, but did you see that? How many plays did you see that had players running open? I can name at least 10. It wasn't always his scrambling. I seen Greg Ward open. I seen Jalen Reagor open. I seen Zach Ertz open. I seen Miles Sanders open. It was quick decisions, man. It was quick decisions. Now, am I saying that his escapability didn't help that? Absolutely not. But I think you got to give credit a little bit to some of these guys were open. Just like they were open for Carson Wentz, he just was not hitting them. But yes, Jalen Hurts definitely made more out of less than Carson would have. I completely agree. John, what do you think, buddy? I love the yellow jersey tonight. I'm like that. You're rocking that one. I like that tonight.
I had to bring out the old school bus to get a run game and some freaking different mentality of the Steelers team. But I'll digress. I mean, look, Hurts played really good. All right. So many things running through my head. I mean, Tony, you opened it up and said, change of game plan because Hurts was in and had plays set aside. And I'm going to say, one, why didn't you change the game plan for Carson Wentz's strengths? One. All right. Two, why didn't you have a bunch of plays set up for Carson Wentz? Three, rolling out of the pocket. Why didn't you call plays where he rolled out of the pocket? How many times is he sitting in the pocket just getting crunched? All right. So, look, I'm not sticking up for Wentz. Look, Hurts looked like the better passer of the two right now, even though it was limited. Receivers, I wouldn't say they really got open, but they had more time to get open because of Hurts scrambling. I mean, plain and simple.
Yep.
He brings another perspective to the offense. You have to respect him in the run game. The difference between this, a full-time start, and putting him in for 3 plays, you put him in for 3 plays, they weren't even trusting him to pass. I said it like a month ago. I said, if you're going to do it, you got to at least have the threat of the pass. Otherwise, the defense is predicting exactly what you're going to do. So now with him as the quarterback, it kind of changes a little bit. But I'll bring this up, when you mentioned, is it sustainable? You look at, Taysom Hill at first. It was like, oh, dude, Taysom Hill, how are we going to stop this dude? Stinks. Right. He had a good game or two. You get the game film on him and you contain him. All right. Look at, in reality, look at the Baltimore Ravens offense. Look, it took more than a couple games. Lamar Jackson is a beast. All right. You're not an MVP and then just falling to nothing, but he never had the passing capabilities. You know what I mean? Teams know how to play against him. You look at all the quarterbacks out there that really aren't passers. It doesn't take long to figure out a game plan. The exceptions are your Josh Allen, who can pass the ball, your Kyler Murray, who can pass the ball. But if you're a one-dimensional guy where you're a Cam Newton, you know what I mean? Even Lamar Jackson, the way he's playing, he's one-dimensional. Nobody respects him in the passing game. So, it's all about, it's good now. Will it sustain long-term? I don't know. We shall see.
And that's the biggest thing. And I agree with everybody. I do. Hey, Dave, I guess Gene says right side all day, so I guess me and Dave are lefts or on the left tonight, I guess. I don't know. But listen, I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts is going to win us a Super Bowl. I'm not sure what Gene's talking about right here. But, I specifically said, listen, on my final judgment today on Fox, I specifically said that, we need time. This is one game. That's it. I don't know if this is sustainable. I don't know if Jalen Hurts is the guy, but we want to win. At the end of the day, listen, I opened today, I interviewed Malik Jackson, and the first thing he said to me was, oh, man, we needed that win, man. Damn, did that feel good. That was his first words, okay? Because just like us and just like them, they needed that. They needed that. And it was too long. It took too long. It should not have waited until week 14 in order for that to happen. Now, again, I am neither a Carson apologist or a Carson hater. I'm an Eagles fan and I'm an Eagles lover, and I want to win. Whatever way and whatever direction we need to go into to win is what I want to do. And again, it's funny, John, because you mentioned about Lamar, and it's such a good point because, even though he won MVP, it's still the historic nature of the NFL. Pocket passers win championships, not mobile quarterbacks. And and again, we could say it all day long. And again, listen, Russell Wilson is unique because he is so great. He's so accurate and he throws such a great ball that I think he kind of separates himself. But I'm not ready to just sell out for Jalen Hurts, but what I'm saying is I just don't think both of these guys can come back next year. No quarterback competition, none of that. It just doesn't work, and it showed. Dave, what did you say, 11-2? 11-2 without Nick Foles or Jalen Hurts. That says there's an issue between Carson Wentz and Doug Pederson.
Well,
Right?
I think it's more Carson Wentz and the organization, and it goes back to my first point. I'm not sure what Gene. Maybe I'm not clear on what I'm trying to say here, but the Eagles organization has screwed Carson Wentz. This is my opinion. Howie Roseman and whoever's involved with getting personnel and the people in there haven't done enough to protect their asset. Their asset is a 6'5", not as mobile quarterback as the other guys, and we didn't draft an offense. We didn't draft solid offensive linemen. We didn't get him solid receivers. So if that's your asset, so my arguments or my discussion points are about what's in front of us. And I'm not breaking down players. I'm breaking down the organization and what they should have done, in my opinion, to protect their millions of dollar asset that is our starting quarterback. That's their words. They picked Carson Wentz over Nick Foles, which I was fine with. But if that's your pick, you should have, in 3 drafts now, you should have surrounded this kid with the proper weapons to be successful. And they shouldn't have drafted Jalen Hurts if they're truly sold that Carson is the guy. I have nothing against Jalen Hurts. Obviously, if he's going to be our guy, win us 2, 3, 4, 5 Super Bowls, please.
Hey, I just got a quick question. In all honesty, did you feel that there was more shotgun plays for Jalen Hurts than Wentz? I feel like
Wentz is always in shotgun.
Is he?
Always.
Wentz is in shotgun and
he'll
then
get
handing the
under center.
ball off.
Yeah, always. Every blue moon he'll be under center, but he's 95%.
Maybe it's just all that pressure that's in his face all the time. I feel like he's under center.
No, well, I mean,
well, that could be it.
To the whole point of Carson Wentz, to me, and this is not a hot take, one of the reasons why he's broken is I think he's seeing ghosts because of this offensive line. I mean, he is, I think, running for his life every time he takes the ball. And the times that he's not, and you see on film that he's got guys open that he missed, I think it's because he's seeing ghosts.
It could be. I mean, listen, our buddy Al checks in. He says, "Did you see the tweet from earlier?" So I was looking at it. It says 16 games. Al tweeted this out earlier. 16 games. Team was 6-10, 59% completion percentage, 3,827 yards, 22 touchdowns, 21 picks. QBR was 51.2. This was last season. This season is totally different. Who is this? Right? So, we listen, these are the numbers, right? Al, I'm guessing, help me out. Who are we talking about here? I'm guessing who it is, but I would like you to tell me what you think. And again, a lot of people are saying here, no one is mentioning the complete 180 our O-line took in this game. That was the difference, not quarterback play. Hurts wasn't the difference. The O-line was tremendous. Dave, kind of disagree there. The O-line played okay, but again, Jalen Hurts covered up a lot of the deficiencies for what that O-line did because he took Al says your boy. And I know who he's talking about. That's Baker Mayfield.
I know who he's talking about.
Yeah, all right. I'm not even thinking because I knew Baker was on my head. So that's how Al is he's part of the gang here because he knows Baker's my boy. And we're gonna get to that later. Okay. But let's real fast. There's so many comments and this happens. I apologize, guys, for not getting all of them. But I'll try to get some of them here. Andre says those runs were because Hurts watched all year what the O-line was doing and what Carson was not. So it made him easy to make decisions instantly. Agree. Mike, what's up, Mike? Checking in as always. Great guy. Arizona wide receivers going to smoke our DBs. Yeah. That's scary. Next week is going to be scary. Andre says John's clock is always correct. Love it. Gene says Reagor was open on an offensive PI. That was the only play called that worked, and it should have been called. They were open after the scramble. I see that, but I think they were still open more than you're giving them credit for. It's the NFL. Most of the time people are open. They get open for such a small window. It has to be quick decisions. Exactly. A lot of those throws had to be quick, right? Dan, right, is for you. Guy in the bottom right is literally spot on. Sorry, forget his name. Dan Green. Dan's already the first show we bring Dan to the fold here. He's already getting fans. I love it. The man knows what he's talking about. Andre, I watched the game again, and at least one receiver was open 48% of the time when Hurts was in the pocket, and 71% of the time when Hurts was outside the tackles. Very interesting. Trevor, our man, checking in. John, is that a vintage Nike Steelers jersey from 2001 or the OG starter reverse jersey from back in the day?
Starter reverse.
My man.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's I think mid-90s, I believe it was.
I love it, man. I love it. Trevor says Taysom Hill is Team Tebow's friend.
Taysom Hill stinks.
Yeah, I know.
It was his fourth start, and we played well against him. I mean,
we had film.
Yeah,
well, that's
what I'm saying. Yeah,
he's
exactly.
he's not a good. He's not a good passer at all. Jay says, I can't wait until Carson gets traded and all of a sudden he's playing great. Pray he doesn't go to San Fran or Indy because we will be kicking ourselves. Listen, I'm not saying, again, I don't know where he's going to go, but it's not going to be here, man. By the way, love the show tonight. Solid feedback. Gene, thank you as always. Again, Wire to Wire podcast. Check them out. I think they go live on Wednesdays when we do our fantasy segment, but they do really good stuff. They got a lot of bets going on. They got a lot of betting talk, fantasy talk, sports talk, college, a lot of good stuff. Last one from right now. Dark Sage on Twitch checking in. As unpopular as this may sound, the Eagles, in my opinion, have never been an organization that values quarterbacks. It seems to me they're going with Jalen because they have given up on Carson Wentz just like they gave up on Mike Vick when Foles was there. Philadelphia seems to be making the same mistake as they did for decades. Interesting. Yeah. Again, and follows up, the Eagles are not a team that value quarterback loyalty. Rather, they want someone who will win now. And if you do not do that, they push you out the door and go to the next thing. That's very interesting.
They signed Mike Vick to a $100 million contract soon after they got him on the team. And what did he do after he left us? Nothing.
Yeah, he did do nothing.
They had Donovan for years. They had Jaworski for years. They had Randall for years. They've held on to their quarterbacks for quite a long time. So I disagree with that. Respectfully disagree with that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, I was literally thinking like 1 minute ago, I was like, you know what? The talk of the quarterback in Philadelphia will go on for many more years in terms of it was Wentz, then Foles, then do we keep Foles, and then Foles goes, and the comparison of Wentz versus Foles, did we make the mistake? Now it's all over again. No matter what happens next year, it's still going to be Wentz versus Hurts, no matter who's where. It doesn't matter if Wentz is gone, what happens, that conversation will still go on for at least another 2 years.
See, you're right. It definitely will. And I like my theories. I kind of dive deep into a lot of things, and I think, and I'll tell you what, man, let me ask you guys this, because this kind of makes sense. And everybody's blaming Howie. Okay. But what if Jalen Hurts was Doug's guy all along? What if Doug didn't agree with them signing Carson Wentz? What if Carson is actually Howie's guy, not Doug's guy? And again, Howie, we all heard about, Jeff. You hear there's a power struggle, right? Well, maybe Jalen. Okay, Jeff wants Jalen to play. Doug wanted Jalen to play. Doug drafted Jalen, and Howie was like, no. I need Carson still in there because I want to protect my investment. So, that's the thing. That's why I feel, we've seen it. It almost makes sense now, because if Nick Foles had a better relationship with with Doug Pederson that he did with Carson, and now you see it already looks like he's got, he's clicking with Jalen, then that just means that Carson's not his guy.
Hey, Tone,
doesn't it?
I agree that Carson's not his guy, but there's no way that Doug has any clout in that draft room. I mean, this is the same guy that announced that his coaching staff is coming back, and the next day they were all fired. So he has.
That's
he has
true.
No,
That's true. It's a good point.
I'm cutting you off at the knees on that one, Tone.
That's a good point.
There's definitely something where Wentz and Doug have, split ways. There was a soundbite I heard the other day. During the Super Bowl year when he was healthy, about how great he is, how he lives in the film room, and then Doug made a comment: "As long as I don't screw him up."
Yeah,
it was a soundbite to a coach that they caught, and it's prophetic because he did screw him up, in my opinion. That guy right there, the Stunad.
Poor Doug, man. Doug does take a beat.
Listen. I've said this from jump, and I'm not on record because I've just started this business, but I'm on record with people that have heard me. I have never liked Doug Pederson. His first year, you could say he was a rookie coach, but he made some blunders like you couldn't believe. The second year, I guess I had to say he proved me wrong, but now I'm starting to see that it was more of a Frank Reich thing because he's been a disaster since Frank Reich left. They've started off every year since Frank Reich left under 500 the first half of the season with easy schedules and had to scramble in a shitty division just to get back into a playoff hunt at 9-7. If they were in any other division, they'd be a mediocre team that would have been out of the playoffs since the Super Bowl. And now this year, Doug is not a good coach at all. I mean, I've seen him make decisions based on media pounding him.
Like
why did Greg Ward play last year? Because the media was constantly down his throat.
They were.
Paul Turner a couple years ago. Why did he finally get into the lineup? Because the media was down his throat. He is not. I don't think he's that capable of a coach. I'm just not a fan, and you can't tell me otherwise.
No, listen, Dan, I'm with you. I'm definitely not a Doug guy. I mean, I don't know if you listen to it, but I've said this, a bunch of times. I mean, if you blindfolded somebody and let four guys talk on a podium like you do when you blind test peanut butter or diet soda, nobody would pick Doug to be the head coach. I mean,
he wouldn't get hired in the SEC right now. Yeah. He wouldn't.
I mean, seriously, it is what it is. I mean, I think we all see it. It's obvious. It's apparent. But, I just think this is the worst outcome that we could ever imagine right now. It is. I mean, we were supposed to think, and again, anything can happen, but, if Jalen Hurts, let's look at it this way. Say Jalen Hurts goes 4-0. I mean, it's not unlikely. Okay, your last three games, right? You're going Arizona, which is going to be a tough battle. Okay, it's going to be interesting. I mean, Hassan Reddick went off. You got Budda Baker out there. You got a lot of guys on defense out there. You're very, very good, right? But if you look at this, and then they have Washington and Dallas. I mean, what if he goes 4-0? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how you come into an entire, or you go through an entire offseason and you don't make a move. I don't know how it happens.
If they go 4-0, obviously Hurts will have a lot to do with it, but it also will, in a way, be an indictment on Doug because what took you so long? Not just to play him, but to do all the other things that probably have gotten done. Now, you can't underestimate what I call the backup goalie syndrome that's taking place right now. What happens when the backup's thrown into a game? The defense gets tighter. They all want to protect that goalie because the main man's out, right? Yep. Whether he's pulled from a game or injured. Well, this is like that. The team's juiced now. They've got to bounce in their step. The line knows they gotta protect this kid, not because he's not mobile, just because he's a new quarterback, maybe doesn't know the system that well. Like you just talked to Malik Jackson, he's got bounce in his step. Just the whole change causes energy. And it's not necessarily an indictment on Carson. Every starting quarterback at one time, Donovan had that. AJ Feely or Ty Detmer would come in, Coy Detmer would come in, and the team would do well. You always play well for your backup. We'll see what happens. Again, 4 games is a decent measuring stick. But again, will teams have anything to play for? We'll see. But it's still early.
Oh yeah,
Tony, you discussed how did we get here, or who do you blame or I forget exactly how you worded it, but the designer of the team is who you blame. You talked about it, not blaming Howie. He's the designer of the program.
But what if that designer gave you pieces that are shown to be able to work?
He didn't.
How?
Tell me what's working.
Wait a minute. So let's think about this. So let's
tell
think
me what's
honestly.
working in a substantial amount.
Let's think about this. Okay, so Jalen Hurts drafted by Howie, correct?
Yeah.
Carson Wentz drafted by Howie, correct?
That doesn't count.
It should.
A top of the board draft pick doesn't count.
Yeah, but he put the draft capital up.
No, I give him
right?
credit for the maneuvering to get to Carson Wentz.
Right.
That was beautiful. Listen. He had a great year that year. There's no doubt about it.
Okay,
We're not taking that year away from him, Howie. But
So-
post Super Bowl,
so take
crapped the
Jalen
bed.
Mills, and put him back at his pure position, not safety, corner.
he's a slow corner.
For a 7th round pick, still was a starter.
That's your
Right?
third. That's your third guy?
Avonte Maddox. Wait, hold on. Avonte Maddox showed he could play, and he's not an outside corner. He's a nickel. Showed he could play in a nickel last year. Everybody was excited about Avonte Maddox, right? Everybody was excited about him. Josh Sweat looks like he could be really something. Another draft pick, Howie Roseman. Okay, Sidney Jones leaves, goes plays well. Rasul Douglas leaves, go plays well. Eric Rowe. He's still floating around the NFL, making plays on red zone. Mac Hollins still making plays for the Miami Dolphins. Okay, is Howie really that bad?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well then why are these players still in the NFL?
No. There's no doubt about it that you're going to hit on people. So yeah, he hit. I mean, you Avonte Maddox. I mean, let's do the other question. Tone, how many Pro Bowlers have they had?
How many Pro Bowlers? We've already talked about that.
Right. A good GM. I'll go to the man above me. I don't know how people see it. The man above me rolls out Pro Bowlers after Pro Bowlers.
I know.
Great wide receivers that are from the 3rd round on year after year. I mean, that's a good GM. I mean,
I'm not a Howie guy, man. I've never been a Howie guy.
Listen, you and I could hit on people in the 4th or 5th round, okay, and it's going to happen. I mean, you have to. I mean, you're going to hit on people, but he's had too many misses, and even the game Rager had. I mean,
I'm not sold on Rager at all.
Right? Did you see that ball that he just puts his arm out for? Dive for the ball.
That was a Ricky Waters play.
That was a yeah. So the
for
draft
who, for what?
The high draft picks, he's swung and missed on in most cases, in my opinion.
I mean, look. I mean, even listen. David checks in. David, awesome guy to the show. A little off topic, but was Jalen Reagor jogging all game? Is he hurt? I mean, yeah. I mean, listen. It's an obvious question. I mean,
he runs awkwardly. There's no doubt about it.
He's
not smooth.
Stu Nod is top 5 funniest cultural slang term. I love it. Alex says, let me say this: if we trade Carson and he goes somewhere and rips it up, who will everybody look at? That's why you move on from the coach before the player. Don't do what the Sixers did with Jimmy Butler. I love that comment.
He's the only intelligent one around here.
But let me ask you this.
I agree with that.
And I do too. And John, because I got to get you in because you're too quiet, man. Let me ask you this: how? Okay, I agree with that. I love it. So you get rid of Doug Pederson. So you're bringing Jalen Hurts and Carson Wentz back.
Yes,
and if Carson Wentz can't beat out Jalen Hurts, he's a $30 million backup?
No, then you have to move him. But there's nothing wrong with a quarterback controversy. This isn't the first time in the NFL that such a thing has produced itself. This has happened before amongst other teams.
Not with this kind of financial ramifications.
Well, that's why
that's
Hurts,
not our
Hurts
fault.
is
That's the designer's fault.
But we still got to live with it.
Yeah, but you're not going to get rid of one guy because of money. You still need to see if you can win with one or the other.
That's what these 4 games are for.
Right. To me, Hurts is the commodity. You try to trade Hurts, God willing, for my sake, and that you bring in a new coach. You bring in an Eric Bieniemy. Make Carson whole again. Hurts is a non-first round pick who doesn't make a lot of money. He's very tradable. If he performs well, Tone, like we hope he does, because we're still fans, then he has big time value. You have Wentz back. You have a serviceable backup next year, and you pray the new coaching staff makes this guy whole again. That would be my plan.
Or
let's time out one second.
Sorry, John, I tried.
Go ahead, John. I'm sorry. I can save my thought.
I'm just messing around. I love it. It's awesome. We're all passionate, man. I love it. 40 minutes passionate about that. It is what it is, man. This is what this is about. This is why we are true to the fandom. That's all I got to say.
I'll be quick, and I'll agree with Dave. There's no reason that you have to hurry up and make a decision, let alone getting rid of Wentz and the financial ramifications on the different timelines in terms of cap hits and this and that. But like Dave said, you need a backup quarterback regardless. I mean, look, why pay Wentz, then draft Hurts? Who knows? But with Wentz's injury history, you can't go and not have a backup quarterback. So I see no reason, like Tony, you said, a 4-game,
right?
4-game, see what this kid got. But at the same time, I don't really think that's enough. You're going up against Dallas one of the games. Who's the other team you're going?
You're going up against Dallas and Washington. They're your division rivals.
Yes, Washington, I agree, is a tougher matchup. I'm talking about the
Arizona. That's a good team.
That defense, I'm not scared of that defense. I'm not scared of Dallas's defense.
Hassan Reddick had 5 sacks last week.
Dude, I think you would be crazy to try to make a quarterback decision for the future of your organization based off of what Jalen frickin' Hurts does in a 4-game sample with practically nothing on the line going up against Dallas and Arizona's defense. Or even what he does against a very good Washington defense, even if he has a bad game. 4 games at the end of a season, a lost season for a team that's been in shambles is not enough sample size to make a decision on your starting quarterback.
As much as I agree with that, you cannot trade Jalen Hurts. You 100% trade Carson Wentz before you trade Jalen Hurts.
I'm not even thinking about trading until
right.
At least week 4 of next year, and then I'll feel. Then you see what the buzz is. You don't know what teams are going to go down and need a quarterback.
And what's wrong with competition?
Dave, I agree with. Listen, I would love to have Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts. The same reason why you couldn't have Nick Foles and Carson Wentz on this team. It's a business. It's about, but they're already $60 million over the cap. You cannot keep Carson Wentz. If he's not going to be your number one guy behind center in week 1 in 2021, he cannot be on this football team. It's as simple as that. And it's as simple as that. He cannot be on this team. Listen, I get it. All I know is, listen, we and Al and Andre, I know they're watching. I know you 3 guys weren't in our basketball show, but I think we've also talked about this, on the Heat ratio when we talked about James Harden and Ben Simmons. We talked about an age factor, okay? So you can't discount that either, okay? There's a 5-year difference between Jalen Hurts and Carson Wentz. There's an injury history with Carson Wentz. You cannot trade. If Jalen Hurts goes 4-0, you cannot trade Jalen Hurts. Listen, say what you want, but that is the future of the NFL. That is the future of the NFL.
Could you be talking about RG3?
No, come on, man.
In reality,
he's a completely different quarterback than RG3. You think?
How do we know?
What's that?
Thank you.
RG3 won the Heisman Trophy.
And he had a heck of a rookie season.
He was an awesome football player. Until he got hurt.
All I'm saying is, if you take the intangibles and you take the history and you put everything on a left and right piece of paper, there's no way that you could keep. Listen, Carson Wentz could every bit be Sam Bradford. Okay, think about say what you're going to do. I mean, say what you want. He could every bit be Sam Bradford. I would take my chances with Jalen Hurts way before I would take my chances with Carson Wentz. He is, listen, there has been so much talked about with Carson Wentz. And again, I am not a Carson Wentz hater, but At the end of the day, there was a reason why an article has come out. At the end of the day, there was a reason why veterans have said he's been stubborn. He's been uncoachable. Coaches have said he has been uncoachable. Okay, he lost locker rooms at certain times. Yeah, great, good job, Fletcher Cox. You like the tweet? Come on, man. What are we? 10 years old? That's what we're going by. People who like tweets now. That's nothing to do with it. I like Carson Wentz, but I cannot mortgage the future for Carson Wentz if Jalen Hurts looks like he can play. I'm going to take the chance. I'm sorry. I just have to do it.
What about? I mean, John mentioned this earlier. I agree with you. My gut tells me talent moving forward, Hurts is going to be the more talented quarterback. But the financial ramifications, even if you trade him, it's $30 million against the cap next year.
Oh, absolutely. But
so I mean, that's going to hurt Hurts and the players you bring in around him as well.
Well, not necessarily, because you can always listen. I am a firm believer there's always a deal to be made in the NFL. So, there could be a thing where somebody takes money, you take another player. At the end of the day,
you don't get that $30 million back anyway.
You never know. I listen. I don't believe it.
Talent for talent hurts. Meritocracy situation. It's going to go Carson Wentz. As Seth Joyner likes to say, this is a meritocracy. It's not a meritocracy. You don't get things on merit. You get things based on your salary and your draft status, unfortunately, in sports. There should be competition. I get it, but you have a $128 million quarterback potentially getting benched if he loses the competition, which I'm okay with. I'll go with the best quarterback, but how many teams have $128 million backups? That's all I'm saying.
No, listen, I agree. Okay, and again, like Kevin, I know this is Dave's buddy. So what do we? Dave's got a group of friends on here that like to attack me on Facebook too. Where's Bob Lynch at? I wonder where he's at too. Calling your boy Tony out, but that's okay. What are you going to do if Hurts shits the bed in the last 3 games? What are we talking about? Draft a quarterback in the first round? No, we just said, if you were listening, we just said if Hurts goes 4-0. I didn't say so. The situation is completely different. So yes, if he comes in and he can't play in the next 3 games, then absolutely you're going to have questions. I mean, come on, it's a no friggin' brainer. Okay, but my logic again is if he goes 4-0, if he goes 3-1, if he just beat the friggin' Saints, man. Like, what are people not seeing? I've never, ever, ever met a fan, and I love this town. I've never met a fan base that has coddled Carson Wentz so goddamn much in my life. I don't get it. And then they completely despair. The John and Jay, it wasn't that good of a game. It wasn't. Well, all we talked about is we want to win a game. We finally won a game. Finally. And everybody's downplaying it. What the frig is wrong with you people, man? Do you want to win or not? It's so ridiculous. I don't get it. Like we said, I don't care if it's Carson, Jalen, bring back Roddy, friggin' Pete. I don't care. I want to win. Right? I want to friggin' win. I cannot take these ridiculous comments all the time. Give the guy some damn credit. I don't care if he rushed for 100 yards. I don't care if he only threw for 120 yards. He won against the friggin' Saints. The number 1 defense right now, the team that we're asking to go to the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, his first start, comes in and wins again. Give the goddamn guy some respect. I'm not saying he's the next coming to Russell Wilson, but give him some friggin' respect, man. Not just because we love Carson Wentz and Carson Wentz don't have a statue, by the way, just so everybody knows. Nick Foles does, okay? Nick Foles has a statue, not Carson Wentz. Oh, my God, John.
And a shrine in the locker room.
I can't anymore. I just can't.
No, my ears hurt.
I'm sorry. I just can't. Some of these comments are so ridiculous. I just can't. They make zero freaking sense. I don't know. Do you not want to win because Carson's not your starting quarterback? Is that what it is? I think there is a percentage of people that don't want to win without Carson. I do. They feel like,
well, they don't bleed green. Then they do not bleed green.
I completely agree with you, Dan. Completely.
We're discussing this versus that, but we're not saying either one of them are horrible quarterbacks, people. We're just doing scenarios. We're not attacking, character or stuff like that. So yeah, you do need to relax out there, but you support your team.
Yes, man. We bleed green. We want to win, man. That's what it's all about. No matter who it is. And it sucks that we have to be in this situation.
It's a bad Hollywood script that developed, right, Tone?
What's that?
It's a bad Hollywood script that developed.
It really is. It really, I mean, think about it. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me.
It is.
Again, last thing I'm going to say on it, because I just don't feel like talking about it anymore, is I don't. Because listen, we can say whatever we want, but call it the way it is. And, I was on the Upper Bowl podcast today with Trevor Harris. I don't know if you're still watching. Great dude, man. He was, and I specifically said to him, like he knows, and I think all four of you guys know, man, if this was Donovan McNabb, we'd be wanting to burn his goddamn house down. If it was Donovan in week 3, we're burning his house down, bro. We're running his ass out of town. Oh my God. But Carson can overthrow receivers, throw his own worm burners. We'll call them Wentz burners, okay? He can do whatever he wants, but we love Carson. But if Donovan did it, forget about it, man. Forget about it. We would never see the end of Donovan McNabb. We would see the memes going around with the chunky soup commercials and we hate get out. I mean, come on, man. It's so ridiculous, man. But let me calm down for a second. And again, I got to stop reading comments. That's what kills me. Okay, 100%. That's what kills me. Let me ask you. Let's finish on this because I got to bring this up. One guy, I think all four of us and everybody on this show in the comments and listening on everywhere else, I think can agree with is that we respect Ron Jaworski, for what he does at the position and what he does as an analyst. And he came out and laid a pretty big claim to say that Jalen Hurts reminds him in comparison to Randall Cunningham. Okay, now, again, I will never, one thing I've always said, I will never, ever, ever, go against anybody who's credible, ever, because they have their opinion for a reason, okay? But at the end of the day, Randall Cunningham had a tremendous arm. I don't know if I see that from Jalen Hurts. So I was really surprised. I mean, I know he was looking at the mobility factor, but John, can you look at that and say, can you see that? I mean, is that a fair comparison? In your opinion, Randall Cunningham, Jalen Hurts?
They wear the same uniforms. I mean, they're both running quarterbacks. I wouldn't. Yeah, I think Randall Cunningham had a stronger arm. But I mean, I've got to see what Hurts got. You know what I mean? I mean, he was a very good college quarterback. You got to see how quickly he processes the game. And, a one-dimensional game is not going to be able to be sustained long-term. So you can't bank on the 100 yards rushing and only passing for $150 pretty much every game. You look at that's what Lamar Jackson's been doing, and Baltimore's been struggling in reality. So you can't bank on that for long-term success. Randall doing it in that day and age was a completely different thing. Now there's probably 8 quarterbacks in the league now that you have to be able to defend against, that same type of game. Back then it was Randall Cunningham. You know what I mean? He was one of a kind. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a different game. I think Randall had a stronger arm, but there's definitely some similarities.
There is, but I agree with Rich. I mean, that's a kind of an arm. I don't see it with Randall. Dave, it's early. I get it. And I know everybody wants to put their stamp on things, but I kind of think this is a little off base. What do you think?
Well, I mean, Jaworski would know if anybody. He's definitely not comparing his arm, though. I agree with John and you. His arm, Randall's arm, he threw the ball like 75 yards in the air in the one NFL quarterback contest. So he's looking at his mobility and his escapability. I don't know. Jaworski is awesome at breaking down film and analyzing players. I love listening to him. So I ultimately respect everything he says, but I'm pretty sure he's just comparing Randall's legs to Jalen's legs.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's a whole mobility factor. Is that what you're thinking, Dan?
It has to be. And truthfully, I think Randall is such a unbelievable talent that really never lived up to his fruition with us. He finally brought his game and his work habits to Minnesota. He was not known for studying film. I hope Jalen Hurts is a film room junkie and separates himself from Randall as far as that goes.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I have a Randall story, but we don't have time for that because I interned with the Eagles back in the day, and I have a great Randall film study story.
Well,
for another time, if you will.
Yeah, let's bring it up next week since we're for 55 minutes, and I had to get to this a couple of these comments because I want to get to this. Rich, my buddy Rich says Pat's not sold on Cam. Is Wentz a Bill guy? I think that's interesting to talk about. A landing spot for Carson if they were going to trade him. And Dave, please do me a favor, pick up the phone and call this dude Kevin, okay? Because. I think I don't think he knows what he's talking about. Are you forgetting who the Saints quarterback was? Last time I checked, I said the Saints had the top defense in the NFL. Last time I checked, I said Jalen Hurts. This has nothing to do with Taysom Hill whatsoever. Zero. It has a way Jalen Hurts played against the Saints. Last time I checked, Taysom Hill doesn't play on defense. Sorry, Kev. I can't give you that one. Jalen did get Packer Nation worried in that one half. That punt return, the 4th touchdown in that game, the progression to rise the Eagles defense last game was remarkable. Dave's boy, Jim Schwartz, taking it up a notch. Yeah.
And beat Taysom Hill. Great.
Yeah. Wait. Hey. Mike says he's more. That's bad. He's more Tony Banks than Randall Cunningham. Woo! That's not good.
Tony Banks had a good arm too, by the way.
Wow, Tony Banks. Wow, that's a great pull, man. I remember Tony Banks.
Yeah.
Dave says Carson fans constantly have to defend him. There's the Carson versus Dak shit. There's the Carson versus Foles shit. People in Philly have spent a lot of energy defending Wentz, and they are here again. The Carson versus Hurts shit since he was drafted. And now people are upset because it's hard to defend him yet again. Interesting point, man. Listen, very interesting point. Listen again. I still am on the side of people that said I can't believe that Carson woke up and forgot to play football. Forgot how to play football. I agree with that. I don't know what it is or what happened. I don't know. We also watched Blake Bortles throw 35 plus touchdowns one year and never be the same again. So, I mean, I just don't know what it is. I'm not sure. All I know is this situation sucks. We thought, and I hope that we still do, but we thought we had a franchise quarterback that we were going to go to multiple Super Bowls with, and now we're back to where we were 4 years ago, and we're not sure what to think. So, really, really stinks, and we'll see what happens this week. And again, let's move on. And we spent an hour. Listen, it needed to be passionate. I agree. Listen, all the comments tremendous, and everybody's opinion. I love it. Sorry, I get a little fired up, but that's just my mentality. I can't do nothing about it. Going on to bigger things. Let's talk about that game last night before we move off the NFL. And I don't know if all 4 of you guys or all 3 of you guys watched it like I did from beginning to the end. But it was the best game I've watched in probably 10 years. The storylines throughout the game, because we've all been talking about Kevin Stefanski, all been talking about the Cleveland Browns, and just to see them go pound for pound in like a Rocky Balboa, Apollo Creed fight, man. It was like back and forth, and you kind of watch Baker Mayfield grow up right in front of your eyes. Let's not forget, what he did last year, which Al showed, which was great point. The evolution of Baker this year, and that Ravens team. As much as, I love Lamar Jackson, they're pretty one-dimensional, in that sense, because those guys, those receivers, I mean, I'm not sold on no Hollywood Brown, okay? Yeah, exactly. I'm not sold on Willie Snead. I'm not, and the best thing they do is they have that great running attack, which I agree. But like Al says, look, out second. Look at his smile. Look at his smile on his face for his boy. Man, when Baker was sliding in the end zone, man, I was cheering. Woohoo! Not only did he hit me my parlay for $438, but at the end of the day, that's my boy. So I was loving Baker for that, man. But listen, all I know is this ain't Bernie Kosar's Browns anymore. Okay? Right? This ain't Eric Mangini on the sideline. These guys are for real. And they went pound for pound. And again, Dan, you said you watched the game. So what your takeaway from that game last night?
Well, I had this on one of the other shows I'm on. The host was convinced that the Browns were going to win the game, cover the spread, and I was like, I don't think so. But I didn't think it was. I still love the entertainment factor of the game because the Browns at the beginning of the year were a sloppy team that somehow had a decent record. And I think it's a combination of learning the coach, learning the system, and totally getting their identity. And I think losing Odell Beckham Jr. was a huge thing in a positive way for them. They didn't have to force the ball to a diva. They have a balanced offense. And as I said on our other show, Tone, he's a fantastic game manager with flair. And he's got great weapons. I mean, Landry is a solid guy. I love Rashard Higgins. He's got 3 solid tight ends. His line is very good. They're a good football team, and they're a well-coached football team. And I'm actually sorry about this, John. Cleveland deserves it. The city deserves it. They've been through hell and back with that football team.
They ain't back yet. They're still in hell.
No, I'm not saying they're Super Bowl back, but they're going to make the playoffs, and for that, I'm happy for them.
I like their back, but I know John. I know you're not digging this. You're not buying this Cleveland team, are you?
Well, the Steelers are always going to be a great franchise, so I wouldn't worry, John.
No, I'm not. I'm still not buying Baker Mayfield. When was the last time you seen the Ravens defense give up over 40 points? That was the disappointing thing. All right. They got 0 sacks. He did not get sacked. All right. So that just goes to show me we all know that they want to run the ball. They did it enough. No, I'm not sold on Baker Mayfield. Still not. He shows glimpses of being a Pro Bowl quarterback. He shows glimpses of folding under pressure, especially if he got some heat coming on him from the defense. Baltimore's defense did not show up.
Wow. Okay. I think Baker grew up last night, and I think that if Baker can be more of a game manager, which Kevin Stefanski was trying to do. Obviously, they threw the ball, I think, 38 times last night, which is unorthodox for that team with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. But
he had no choice.
Yeah, right. I mean, again. I would have never thought. He's going up against Marcus Peters, one of the best corners in the league, right? They have a lot of talent on that side of the ball. And listen, what Baker did was huge. I mean, he did throw that pick, right? But he came right back on it, man. And that's one thing we didn't see from Baker last year, and that's why Al tweeted that out. And I was a big proponent of Baker being picked number 1 overall. I thought that was the way to go. And I know people, are saying no, it shouldn't have been, and it should have been Saquon and this and that, but. Listen, Baker Mayfield, they're gonna win or lose with Baker Mayfield, man. No matter what they do, that Cleveland Browns team, is gonna win. Do I think he can get them to a Super Bowl? I'm not sure, but he's definitely gonna make sure they're damn competitive. In that entire division for the next 3 to 4 years, in my opinion. Dave, what do you think of that game?
I thought the game was excellent.
Wasn't that a great game, man?
It was fun as hell, man.
I thought it was excellent. I think I was one of those guys that said I thought the Browns should have taken Saquon, and then with their next pick, they should have taken Josh Allen. That was how I would have done that draft. But Baker did definitely grow up last night, and I was also a critic of Baker Mayfield up until this point. But I also defended him in a way, saying that he's had instability at the coaching staff. And you guys know that, been around me. I talk about offensives in particular, but football teams as a whole. You need a stable front office coaching staff to be there. And what Stefanski has done for Baker has settled him down and really honed in his ability to do things. And we talk about this also. Coaches' jobs are to put kids in positions to be successful, players to be successful. And what Stefanski has done better than not has put Baker Mayfield in a position to be successful. Dan, you said it. He's doing well because he's utilizing the talent. He's got two great running backs, in my opinion. Let's not say great, but they're a little above average, both of them. And on the Eagles team, I would love to have either one of them, if not both. Like you said, his tight ends and his playmakers out on the side. It's you have to have the right ingredients to make a good recipe, and they have it right now in Cleveland. Not to say Baltimore. I'm not. John, you said something before earlier about Lamar Jackson and being a one-dimensional quarterback. If that kid can get the right weapons, I don't think, to what Tony said, he doesn't have the right weapons on the outside. If Lamar Jackson can get the right weapons and produce an average passing game, that kid is fun to watch, man. He's more like Randall Cunningham to me than Jalen Hurts. But it was an awesome game. It was fun to watch. And, I'm glad that division is now not only with the Steelers, but the Browns are including in that. That's fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, your buddy checking in. Actually, something I could actually agree with what he's saying here. Could you imagine a Saquon and Josh Allen on the same squad? And again, even though I think Baker was the guy, but still, if you would have wound up with the hindsight 2020, Saquon and Josh Allen, that would have been fantastic, right? Again, unbelievable, man, unbelievable. That would have been fantastic. But what I like about it is, again, I like that we're seeing more good quarterback play, because there was a time a few years ago, man, there was some really bad quarterback play in the NFL, and this new this new blood coming in with the Josh Allens and Josh Herberts and Patrick Mahomes and Kyler Murray. I mean, it has just really changed the game, man. And it's made a lot more games watchable, more games than they've ever been. You always had like your 6 to 8 slate of games and said, all right, if the other teams are playing, I want nothing to do with it unless I have a fantasy football player or things of that nature. But now 80%, 80-90% of the league is very watchable. With maybe disregard Jacksonville, who really stinks right now. Even Cincinnati, because of they were very watchable, but now you got to watch Kyle Allen, right? Who knows? But besides that, I mean, teams are very, very watchable now, and it's because of the evolution of the quarterback position, which would be crazy. David says Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs on the same squad is scarier. Stephon Diggs, man, first receiver to 100. I should have bet John on that in fantasy football, but next year I'm going to bet on that. Again, but Mike checks in and says Jets. Let's transfer over into some Major League Baseball talk, because before we get to the end of the show, the Phillies threw me a curveball. And again, and I talked about, we talked about Middleton as being a fraud. We hear all the stuff coming about cost cutting measures, and they're the only team that's lost money in the pandemic. We know all the situations. Then they go out and hire Dave Dombrowski, which is a big time baseball guy. You know him from the Red Sox. You know what he's all about. I was completely floored, and I didn't know what to expect, because the guy's known for trading away talent. He's known for trading away, a farm system, for big time players. And I thought we were in the business of building a farm system. So I don't know what this move tells me, but one thing's for sure. Now, I was looking at this a little earlier. Bob Nightingale tweeted out, and the first thing he said was, Scott Barr says, the Phillies don't hire Dave Dombrowski as president of baseball operations if they don't plan on winning immediately. And then you hear all the words about the Jackie Bradley Jr. talk, right? That, and the one thing I want to touch on before I get to your guys' opinion on this is the Bryce Harper effect with the JT Realmuto thing. So Todd Zalecki comes out, with an article talking about, he spoke, what about the commitment that we've talked about on this show that the Phillies have given Bryce Harper, saying that, we are going to commit to, being competitive, spending money, right? Notable 2021 salaries. You have $26 million for Bryce Harper, $22.5 million for Zach Wheeler, $20 million for McCutchen, Segura at 14.25, and Aaron Nola at 11.75. So this is what Scott Barr says. In fairness to what Bryce and John talked about when he came to Philadelphia, there was an owner committed to winning and an owner pursuing winning. And you have to admit that I don't think you play the game of hiring a general manager who's known for World Series hopscotch, because everywhere he goes, he's there to compete and win, and he has done so. So do I think you hire a GM of that nature and capacity as David is without an intention and focus on winning today? Absolutely not. John, I'm going to go right to you this time. Dave Dombrowski, what does it say to you for the hiring as the Phillies president of baseball operations for 2021?
I mean, I think it's a smart move. I mean, he's a smart baseball guy. He has a system. He has a methodology, as how he goes about business. And it's not always one-sided. Yes, he's made big moves when those big moves can put you over the top. If it makes sense to deal some of your farm system because you're a guy or two away and that you could lock those guys up, then you make the move. If you're 3 or 4 guys away, or you're just signing some middle of the road guys, it's not the time to give up the farm system. And I think he knows that. He's known for getting these big guys because it worked, and he was a genius for doing it. So I mean, I personally love it. I mean, to me, with him on board and him basically saying we're more than a player away, to me, and maybe not in these exact words, but I'm also reading into if they're not just one player away, they're not going to spend money foolishly, meaning if JT's not the answer and, signing him would basically mean they don't have too much cash to spend around other places. To me, it's saying they're not going to sign JT. I'm okay with that as long as the money's invested to fill multiple holes. And I'm not saying superstars long term, but you got to get to the playoffs. I mean, this year. I mean, to me, yes, we want to win a World Series, but I'm fine with get to the playoffs this year. Don't kill yourself, and then make a splash next year if you have to take you over the top. Like, if you're not there, don't just make a splash just to make a splash. Be smart about it, and I think that's what it'll bring to the table.
Well, I hope you're right. But I honestly don't know how that, that smart decision is not signing JT Realmuto. I don't see it. I think it's careless because you don't trade your number one prospect for a guy you don't plan on being a part of your system for the next 5 to 6 years. You already knew what that market was going to be. And again, this falls on Clintack. Like Dave says, things fall on Howie and Jeff. This falls on both of those guys because you had to know your job. Again, whether it be a salesman, whether it be a president of a company, is always to forecast what the future is. It may not always be right, but you have to have some kind of an idea. And if Matt Clintack was that stupid to not forecast ahead of what his market was going to be, well, then he definitely doesn't deserve to be any kind of GM in Major League Baseball. Okay, because you do not give up Sixto Sanchez for a guy that you don't think is going to be your future. So, listen, I hope that changes. I do, because without that, we got a major problem, man. We got a major problem. Dave, what do you think about Dave Dombrowski?
How can you not love it? I mean, that I talk about starting from the top down,
yep.
and you can't get much better. Maybe you can pick 3 or 4 or 5, whatever, but he's one of the guys that brings championships to programs. What it says to me is, how much money do we have in the account? Because he's going to spend all of it. That's only reason why I say that is because he wants championships. And unfortunately, Tony, for this team, what do we have to do to get that? You're going to have to pay. We don't have a farm system. We have 0 there. So, that JT deal, that should have been done before the end of last season. It should have been done 3 games into last season. Whatever the fair market value was, give it to him. Give it what he wants, and that should have been a done deal. You should have went into the offseason with a clean slate of not having to do anything but get it new players. Now, I understand, John, I totally understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you, but if we didn't lose the assets we did, it would have been a different story about not signing JT. You would lose in this situation if he doesn't come back.
Yeah, I completely agree. I 100%. I completely agree. You just can't. Rich Texan, but does Middleton open up the purse strings to let him do what he wants to do? JT should have been signed, right? Which we all agree on. You never trade for him. Matt Klentak was an idiot. Yep. Bad move after 6-0, just wheeling and dealing. And here's the thing about Dombrowski, Dan. When you look at his history from Montreal, Florida, Detroit, Boston, I mean, he started to show you that kind of, GM or obviously president that he likes to be the executive in baseball that he would like to be because, he brings Jim Leland out of retirement, right? And he signs guys like Ivan Rodriguez and Kenny Rogers and Maglio Ordonez, right? They lost in 2000, right? Maglio Ordonez, check that one, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, he spent all the money that he could. And if I'm not mistaken, help me out, guys. I'm not 100%, but he gave that money to Miguel Cabrera too, right? Didn't he? Didn't he give that big contract to Miguel Cabrera? I think I think he did. I think he was still in Detroit at that time.
He was with Detroit, I think, till 15.
So he had to give Cabrera that 10-year
Cabrera was
deal.
around. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so he gave Cabrera the deal. And listen, in Boston, obviously, that's his project, right? That's what he's going to lay the claim for. I mean, what he did in Boston, guys that he signed, obviously, this is what he's all about. Guys he traded for. He traded up. The biggest thing he traded for Chris Sale. I mean, that was the thing. He gave up the farm to trade out for Chris Sale.
Well, we could get Chris Sale now, couldn't we?
Right. Well, here's the thing. It worked, right? But at the end of the day, that's the thing. Like, I am all for trading prospects as long as you can guarantee a return on investment. Like you trade 6-0 Sanchez, your return on investment is keeping JT Realmuto. But if you can't get, I'm not trading for rentals, 100%. And I think that's the biggest issue that we have with what the Phillies were doing right now. Dan, what do you think of Dave Dombrowski?
I ultimately like the trade, and I don't think anyone should be pigeonholed into a style of GM. I mean, the guy's been around for 40 years. He's going to adjust to the situation. He was in slash and burn teams like Florida that didn't want to spend money. They 97, they got all these free agents, and then they got rid of them. So it was a different mindset based on the ownership he was working for. I love the fact that he's going to wink, wink, still keep analytics, but he's still going to go old school. I'm old school.
I like
that. So I like that hiring, I think. But here's my issue. It's not with the hiring. It's with the Klentak hiring. I'm going to piggyback on what you said, Tone. And I have a bias here. My high school teammate is J.J. Piccolo. I don't know if that name rings a bell. J.J. Piccolo is the assistant general manager of the Kansas City Royals.
Nice.
He's been trained, followed Dayton Moore since he was a player for Dayton Moore at NC State, scouted with him at the Braves, and then went to build the championship with him in KC. That's who the Phillies should have hired when they hired Klentak. He's a Cherry Hill kid, so you bring a local kid to town. He's got a great resume. He built a winner, and you had a chance to do it all over again recently. Honestly, I was hoping for JJ before I found about Dombrowski. So
interesting.
If you hire JJ 5 years ago, you wouldn't have to hire Dombrowski today. That's where I stand.
That makes sense. I like that. I had no idea. No idea. And the Royals have built it. I mean, me and Dave have talked about this on the show. One of the guys we always talk about is Mike Arbuckle, a guy who, listen, there was a power struggle here between him and Rube. He built what we had here. He goes to Kansas City and builds what they had there, within their farm system. So, listen, with the Phillies, same as the Eagles, man. I don't care who the president is. I just want to win. I want to get back to 2008. I want the rally towels back at Citizens Bank Park.
Red October.
Right? Yeah. I mean, we were at a point in time where we were actually talking about baseball threatening football. And, right? I mean, as crazy as that sounds, right? I mean, we were actually to that point. We knew it would never happen, but it's the closest it would have ever been. That stadium was sold out on a consistent basis. Those players, that team. I mean, listen, we don't even have to. We all know. And will we ever get back to that? I'm not sure, but I know one thing, man. That we need pitching. And, and we need a bullpen. And one of the things that Dave Dombrowski has talked about, and John, I'm going to go right to John because he came up with a brilliant stat last week about how bad our bullpen was, compared to like 1932 or something. He pulled out some stat, right? We were like, what? Like, where? But it's true. So, he is asphyxiated on building this bullpen. He's made several comments about it, which I hope is a good thing. So, John, can they fix this bullpen, man? Can they reverse the logic that you brought to this show last week? I sure hope so.
I don't know. I mean, they tried to fix it this year. I mean, they brought in proven guys that we thought were going to fix it, and it's like they got poisoned in the water well too. So I have no idea. I don't know what guy. Like, I thought they were bringing in the guys to do that, and they didn't pan out. So is it just bad luck? Is it the pitching coach? I have no idea. They obviously have to give it another shot. Either thinks a couple of these guys are going to turn it around. But, I mean, even Sir Anthony Dominguez, I mean, he's not lights out. Neris isn't lights out.
Oh.
I mean, there's a whole slew of guys. So, I don't know. You got to figure out which ones are working and go get guys that will work.
Yeah, please don't give me. I am done with the Hector Neris experiment, man. I want nothing to do with Hector Neris and Luis Garcia, like all these names, man. Like the Dominguez. There's another thing with Dominguez, like Tommy John, not Tommy John, Tommy John, not like back and forth. I mean Robertson. Listen, I liked the Robertson signing when they signed him. I thought that was a decent, but it just didn't work out. The guy got injured. I mean, they definitely can't do nothing about that. They did try in that perspective, but. Listen, it's a shame because we were in such an uproar, man. Dave, when we signed Bryce Harper, we were dancing down Broad Street, man. I mean, it was like we have a legitimate superstar coming to our town, the big 13-year deal, and everybody lay out the red carpet, and then we trade for Real Muto, and we're like, whoa, what is going on here? Zach Wheeler, who I was a huge proponent of signing, I knew he was going to do well, and he did. But at the end of the day, how long do you think, Dave? What do you think with this? Not to spend a lot of time on this, but before the Phillies can legitimately compete, in your opinion?
I think it depends on starting pitching. And if you get me 3 solid starters, and I picked that number because I had to look up Dave Dombrowski in 2015, something that Dan mentioned that sparked some interest. He had 3 pitchers in Detroit: Anibal Sanchez, Justin Verlander, and David Price in 2015. So if anybody knows the quality of pitching that needs to be here to win, this guy is one of the guys. So I'm going to go, and I say pitching also because of the Washington Nationals, who are in our division, and also the Atlanta Braves. Starting pitching for Atlanta is good. I think the Nationals obviously have right now, in my opinion, better starters. So once you get your starting pitching staff in place and they're studs, we'll compete, because I think offensively you got enough bats in play where we can hold our own.
I'll tell you what, man. I know you didn't mention them. You mentioned the Nationals and you mentioned the Braves, but
the Mets.
I think the Mets have the best pitching staff in the NL East by far. Yes, and they just keep grooming them. That's what's crazy, and that's what's scary. We can't get one. We're still banking on Zach Eflin, right? I mean, we're still banking. Like I'm so done with Zach and Vinny Velasquez and Zach. Like, please, those experiments are over, man. Like, seriously, they're over. I don't know. Like you said, Dave, to your benefit, you talked about that's a great rotation. And he paid David Price in Boston, brought him with him, right? And he went out and he got Chris Sale. And so I hope, Dan, that Dave's right. Is there, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but is there even that kind of player out there, do you think? Like, even that kind of pitcher available that could come to this team? Because free agency-wise, I really don't think so. I really don't. I don't think there's anybody right now.
Well, it's just a matter if the teams are. I'll tie this back together, but I don't want to lose a thought I had.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
It goes back to what we've all been saying when they made the trade for Real Muto, that they had to lock him up almost immediately. And I don't want to hear anything about COVID and no fans coming back and we don't know our revenue. That is a total BS excuse, because they had to make that deal before the shit hit the fan with that, and they didn't know what was going to happen, obviously. So they avoided signing him from jump, and now it's really going to bite him in the butt. And I don't want to hear COVID as an excuse, but other teams are using it as an excuse too. And I don't know if there's going to be aces dumped with Cincinnati.
Maybe
they're talking about getting rid of their payroll because of the COVID issues. So you might have a chance because of teams almost doing what we're doing. We're not, if we don't sign Real Muto, then everything starts up the middle, in my opinion. You could he can make a fringe mediocre pitcher very good. He can make a very good pitcher great. That's the kind of catcher he is. Every measurement has him as the best catcher defensively in baseball. I've never seen, and I was a catcher. I have never seen a release like that. The quickest release I have ever seen in my life. And he's a god behind the plate. And he's a solid stick. You can't lose a guy like that. And he's a hell of an athlete. He runs the bases better than most. He's a hell of an athlete. It would be a monumental loss, and I agree with Dave 100%. You can't lose that guy.
I just want to throw this out there. So, all right, you got Real Muto's what? He's going to command about 200 million, you think?
25 a year. So, yeah.
4 years, 25.
Yep.
So that's 100. You think that's all he's gonna get is 100 mil?
He's a catcher. I don't think he can expect 8 years.
And right, well, he's turning 30 years old. I mean, look
what happened to Joe Mauer with his contract.
Yes.
At some point, there's wear and tear on the knees where you can't play that position full time. So now you got a guy, his stick still plays, but where do you put him? Now you got some lineup decisions. As of the moment, there's no DH. I mean, if there was, that alleviates it a little bit. But, you're talking about, Dave said about that third pitcher. Are you better off with Real Muto behind the plate or going after Trevor Bauer and paying that guy to get your third pitcher, your ace, the top pitcher out on the market right now? I'm not taking a side one way or another. I'm just saying that solves that problem. Nobody's going to dispute that JT is the best catcher in the league now. There's probably few that will dispute 4 years from now that, there will not be, he will not have the ability to play full-time behind the plate. So with the current makeup of the roster, where is that money best spent?
And that comes back. I'll go right to you, Dave. That comes back to just like the Eagles. Again, when you have no farm system, you have no cheap arms that come up and actually produce, at friendly rookie contracts. This is the problem you have. You have to pay for everything, right, Dave?
Yeah, it's another bad situation that our management has put us in, and not that we're stuck dealing with it, but we're in limbo watching it and trying to figure out what these people are going to do. And listen, all the baseball purists know you win, with pitching. Good. Here's the old analogy I was always taught: good pitching beats good hitting any day of the week. Right. So if you have three solid starters and a decent bullpen, you're in ball games. You win a 1-0 game or 2-1 game. That's just how baseball is played and how it goes. So John is nail on the head, in my opinion, about where And we just talked about Dombrowski and the 3 pitchers he had here, and he brings pitching here. So where is his value in this sport? And to me, it's buying pitching, or his value is with pitchers. So that's where I think we're going to go. And that doesn't bode very well for re-signing JT. And that goes back to my point with Clintack should have had this done 3 games into last year, the creep.
Yes, I agree. I completely agree with that. Completely. And if you listen to his press conference, he kind of gave like a meh response about JT, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Sure.
It wasn't very confident. I can tell you that, man.
Yeah.
If they're definitely going to play the cry poor card, and it's like it's between potentially 2 pitchers and JT, you obviously have to go pitching. But it just kills me that that's the angle we even have to consider right now.
Jason,
it mirrors. It mirrors a lot of the Eagles situation with management making the decision to pay Carson Wentz and drafting Jalen. I mean, really, the issue is with these people in management not knowing what the next step is. And Tony, you brought that up earlier. As a manager, as running a business, your job is to try and figure out the future the best you can, and to have a line of how we're going to get there. And
it's your job.
And the mismanagement of money and picking players in both organizations has destroyed our teams for now. That's
and the Phillies draft.
Yeah.
Oof.
Hazley can't play. Moniak can't play.
Oh,
Horrible draft picks.
Nicky Moniak looks like the kid that works at Rita's serving us custard. And this kid's was a number 1 draft pick in baseball.
He was the number 1 pick because they were avoiding Boris clients. They
Yeah,
skipped over like 4 players because they didn't want to deal with Boris clients. But it was still a ridiculous pick. So that again.
Andre says my baseball knowledge is suspect listening to Dave. Dave sounds like a walking Jeopardy baseball question. That's the coach, man. That's the coach. I love it. Dave's got a good point here. Dave checks and talk about pitching. Ironically, yesterday was a 10-year anniversary of acquiring Cliff Lee to complete the Holiday, Oswalt, Hamels, and Lee rotation. The 4 aces.
My Lord.
Poor Kentucky Joe on the outside looking in, right? But wow. What a travesty that team didn't win a World Series, man.
Yeah,
that's just crazy, absolutely crazy. But let's again, great baseball talk. I got one question. I want to talk a little NBA. I don't want to get into like specific teams or this and that, and I don't even want to talk about numbers and bets. What I just want to talk about is just overall, straight up, MVP for this year, and just talk because. I think there's a couple guys, are very intriguing picks. You just seen Giannis sign his Supermax extension today,
Holy shit.
Right? Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable money. There's a lot of different intriguing storylines this year, but I just want to know what you guys think. Who would your NBA MVP pick? And if I had to ask you now, and I know there's numbers out there, and I get it, but that's just straight up, outright. Like Mr. Nelly's an outright. I want your outright MVP for the NBA. Dave, I'm going to go right to you first, man. Your MVP right now, I put you on the spot. The 2021 NBA MVP. Who wins that trophy this year?
Doncic. Luka Doncic.
Luka Doncic.
And I think will Giannis have fat cat syndrome? Probably not, but you never know.
I like it.
But that kid is amazing.
He is. He really. I love Luka. I do. And it's so he's quietly great.
And my sleeper will be Devin Booker.
Ooh, I like that. I like me some Devin Booker. Dave, what do you got, man? MVP, NBA.
It's a pretty interesting question. I love it. I'm looking at KD and Kyrie and Brooklyn, and KD can. I think I don't know why people have short memories, but don't realize what type of scorer KD's and with Kyrie there, feeding them the ball and causing distraction for KD. But my guy, and I'm going to pick him probably for the next 2 or 3 years. I love watching him play. Reminds me of Iverson. is Damian Lillard.
I love Dame.
Yeah,
God,
I think I wish I could watch that kid play ball every night, and he's that fun for me. I love watching Iverson, and he's not the same. He's more polished than Iverson. Iverson was more gritty, get to the hole, lay the ball in. Dame can do that stuff, but I love watching him play, man. I love it.
I love me some Damian Lillard. I was reading about. He said, and we're talking about the symbols. He said he's perfected the half court, his range to half court now.
Yeah,
and he's gonna start throwing one dribble past half court, man. Unbelievable. John, NBA MVP, brother. Who you got?
Giannis.
Yeah. Oh wow, you're going Giannis. I can't. I like Giannis, and he's powerful. And he's very, very talented. Obviously, I can't get on. I can't fully get on the Giannis train. I can't. I just think he's limited.
It's going to come down to who wins the NBA championship. I mean, in reality, I think they're going to get over the top.
I like it. Listen, maybe Drew Holiday's the answer. Right? No, I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know. I mean, maybe Drew Holiday's.
That's a hell of a reaction right there.
Yeah, right. That's funny. I like it. Al said, I knew Al was going LeBron. Al. We had the NBA show, man. He loves him some LeBron as a makeup because he should have won it last year. Andre says Luka. My pick is Luka Doncic as well. But you guys mentioned some great names. But I will tell you, my dark horse is Anthony Davis. I really.
It's not outrageous, yeah.
Nah, I think we just seen his feet wet in the playoffs of how good this kid really is. And I think because he played in New Orleans and they stunk for so many years and he had all those issues and, that we never really fully understood how much of a freaking nature Anthony Davis really is.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't think. I mean, you mentioned Dave. You mentioned KD. Same thing with AD, man. I mean, both of those guys. They are freaks of nature. Rich Jackson says Luka is a quiet assassin. You got that right, 100%. David says, remember when Sixers top contenders to sign Giannis? I think we learned today. No, the hell we weren't. And Andre says LeBron is getting it, winning it back to back. I said Luka is going after it. So, listen, I like Luka. But we'll see. One thing's for sure, man. We talked about this on the show before, and which I love. I can't wait to the 22nd when the NBA actually tips off. One of my most favorite leagues to watch. Listen, it's NFL. Obviously, NBA is a close number two. I think the bubble was tremendous. I thought every game was like an NCAA tournament. I thought it brought the best out of a lot of our players. And I think we're going to expect even better things this year. I mean, now we have a full year of Zion. I love Ja Morant. I love what the Denver Nuggets can be. What they show is Jamal Murray, right? I mean, there's so many storylines, man. I'm excited. I'm excited. One of my favorite players I've always said is John Wall. To see John Wall healthy again, I can't wait to watch John Wall play. He's one of my favorite players. So,
and I love Trae Young too.
What's that?
I love Trae Young too.
Yeah, Trae Young is another. Wow,
that team is gradually building something too.
Yeah, they are. Louis Pierce, man, another Sixers guy, another Philly guy, right? Goes out there and doing a great job as a coach. So a lot of good things here. A lot of good things. So I have this issue. We talk music, and I said I was going to go 2 hours, and I'm trying to stick to an hour and 45. So we have about 7 minutes. But before we get to John and his CD, I have a 1990s hip hop trivia. Okay, and we're all going to do this. Well, here's the thing: we're all going to do it at the same time. Okay, it's pretty neat. I found it. It's on a website. Okay, I'm gonna so I got the questions in front of me. I'll have the answers. Okay, and this is the way we're gonna go. All right, we're gonna ask. We're gonna go Dave, John, Dan, and me. Okay, to see who gets the right answer. It's only 10 questions, but I think it's going to be fun. Al's already checking in with 4 for 4. So, John, you already got a number for John CDs. Al knows what time it is. Al knows what time it is. I love it. So, here is the first question. Okay, again, this is 1990s hip hop trivia. John became a phenomenon in the 80s, and by the time 90s rolled around, it was mainstream. Who was the only MC to rap a verse in Notorious B.I.G.'s Ready to Die album. You have three choices: Mace, Method Man, or Redman. Dave, what are you guessing?
Redman.
John?
I was going to go Redman as well.
You want to go Redman as well?
Yeah.
Dan?
I like to phone a friend, Al.
Al will definitely help you out. Look, there you
I'll
go,
go Mace.
Andre said Method Man. I'm going to go with Andre, and I'm going to say meth too. I think it's meth. So let's see. The answer is correct. It is Method Man. So Method Man was the only MC to rap a verse in the Ready to Die album. Next question. Who sings the hook? Oh, I like this. Who sings the hook on Jay-Z's Can't Knock the Hustle? Mary J. Blige, Aaliyah, or Beyonce? Dave, who you got?
Mary J. Blige.
John?
Mary J.
Dan?
Mary J.
Yes, and I definitely know that is Mary J. Blige, the queen of R&B. I absolutely love it. NWA came out in the late 80s but made their mark in the early 90s. Can you name all of the original members? Here's your choices. A, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, Eazy-E. B, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, Eazy-E, and MC Ren. Or C, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, Eazy-E, DJ Yella, and MC Ren. Dave, A, B, or C?
The last one.
John.
Dave was so confident.
Yo, he was.
I'm going B.
You're going B. We're going no. John's going no Yella. How about you, Dan?
I'm going to go A.
Dan's going to go A. I'm going to be with Dave. I'm going with Dave. I'm going C. I keep saying D because I'm looking at Dr. Dre. I'm going to go D. Let's see. Al says D as well, or C. And it is correct. DJ Yella, remember, he was the first one to leave, I think, if I'm not mistaken. In 1994, oh, I like this one. In 1994, Nas released his first studio album called The World Is Yours, It Was Written, or Illmatic. Dave, what do you got?
Isn't that the Illmatic? I think that's, I don't know. I'm guessing that.
All right, Illmatic. John?
That's what I was going to say even before multiple choice.
Me too. I was going to say Illmatic. Dan?
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll go with that
I know
one.
this is how Dan's home. Hey,
Dude, I'm swimming in the middle of the ocean right now.
I love it. Andre says Illmatic, and I know that without even hitting it. All right, last five here. We have I do that. Ali Shaheed Muhammad is part of which rap group? I don't even need a multiple choice here, but we'll say it anyway. Das Effects, Tribe Called Quest, or Public Enemy? Dave. Ali Shaheed Muhammad.
This is a guess for me. Honestly, I don't know. I'm going to say Tribe Called Quest.
John?
It's annoying me because I hear those words in a song and I'm trying to play the song in my head and I can't pinpoint it. I believe it's Tribe Called Quest.
Hey, Dan, you're in the ocean. Give me a paddle, brother. What do you think?
Well, I was looking at your face to see if you had a tell, and I'm going to go Public Enemy.
And the answer would be Tribe Called Quest.
Like I said, I'm thinking.
This is a good one. This one I don't know. I like this. I'm usually pretty good at this. What year did Tupac release his iconic song California Love? 94, 95, or 96? Dave, you can take a stab at it?
Man, I'm going to say 96.
John? It's a tough one.
It was not 94. I'm going 96 as well.
I'm going to go 95. Dan, what do you think?
I was going to try to be different and go 95, so I'll do because he said it's not 94, and who am I to argue? So I'll go 95.
Let's see. The answer is 1995. California Love. Love it. Three more left. I love it. Oh man, this is a good one. Who did Lauryn Hill diss on the track Lost Ones? Little Kim, Jay-Z, or Wyclef? Dave.
Wyclef.
John.
I can't even pinpoint the song. I was not a Lauryn Hill
Oh,
guy.
that's a great song. You have lost one. I know you heard that song, man. It's a great song. Little Kim, Jay-Z, or Wyclef?
Yeah, I'll go Wyclef.
Dan, what do you got?
Was Wyclef on Daryl's house ever by any chance?
He might. I don't know.
So I'll go
Not sure.
Wyclef. It rings a bell.
I think you'd be right. That would be correct. It is Wyclef, part of the Fuji Squad. What is the part? What is part of the 3-course meal mentioned in the song "All About the Benjamins"? I like this. Spaghetti, fettuccine, and veal, spaghetti, lobster, and shrimp, or steak, scallops, and caviar. Dave, I think I have to sing this to myself just to get this right.
Oh my God. Check. I passed to John.
Hey,
John, go ahead, brother.
hey.
Spaghetti, fettuccine, and veal. Dan, you want to take a shot?
Well, I don't know. Of course, this is not my category. But if I had a lot of Benjamins, I'm not going A. I'm going C.
Yeah, I hear you. But for some reason, I'm thinking it's B. I keep hearing lobster and shrimp in my ear. I'd have to go back and look at the lyrics, but I'm going to go B. So let's see. The final answer is A.
That was
Spaghetti, fettuccine, and veal.
Of all of these questions, that was the one that I was 110% sure about.
I mean, who has the Benjamins and has that kind of a meal? Come on.
Well, this one's not even fair for me, so I'm not even going to answer this. Okay, I think Dave's going to know this too. So, Dave, I'm going to go with you right off the bat. What does Wu-Tang song Cream stand for? Cash rules excellence and motives, cash runs everything in me, or cash rules everything around me?
I'll go with that one, C.
Yeah, there you go, Dan. Cash rules everything around me.
Not there.
I love it. And last one, number 10. I like this. Dan, we're gonna go. Dan, I'm gonna single you out right here because I already know all three of us are gonna know the answer to this. So we're gonna go right to you first. Complete this Snoop Dogg lyric. Laid back with my mind on my money and my money on my mind, or my mind on the cash and my cash on my mind, or on the grind with my money. What would you think it would be?
I was hoping for Corona. My cell phone. I don't even know what you said, to be honest with you. A.
You got it. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, lay back with my mind on my money and my money on my mind. Love it, man.
Snoopy Dogg.
Rolling down the street.
His real name's Calvin, right?
Is it?
I think so.
Calvin Broadus.
It could be. It could be. I like that. I like it. So now, the fun part, and we're 2 minutes over. I tried 145. So we're gonna get Dan, I don't know if you've seen this before or not, but John has a CD collection. And we pick random numbers. Okay. It's sections 1 through 5 up to number 30. So we give him some selections and he picks out random CDs just to see what's digging around in that CD closet he's got over there. So I seen Al already got him 4-4. Dave, you got a number you want to give John?
1-7.
I'm gonna stick with 1 too. 113. We got Dan.
2-4.
I know Al said 4-4. Rich Andre says 5-11. Rich says out of 10 90s, 8 out of 10 90s rap. My man. Rich, you got a number for us? We get in this, Rich? I know it's usually the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us. We'll get another 7 in there, man. You got if you want a number before John goes. This is always fun because we never know. There you go. Rich got 1-8. 1-8. Yep.
All right.
Oh, here we go. I still got to get the damn drum roll, man. I got to watch the Sixers game after this because Al and Anja are talking about Tyreek Maxey, man. He must be doing some nice things. I can't wait to see. I just want to see what they look like. You know what I mean? Like I'm just excited about it.
They look like a team. And I know that sounds very vague, but it's the most complete team that I think has been assembled in years. And believe it or not, I think Howard has a lot to do with that. On the second team rotation, when he comes
huge.
I watched 10 minutes before we got on the show. And I know it's preseason, whatever. I don't really care what the other team was doing. I was just watching our team. And he was already directing guys. He was doing things different. Ben looked a little different. I mean, honest to God, it's 10 minutes. But for whatever reason, it just looks really, really interesting. And I think we're going to be very happy.
I'm just glad they have Danny Green on the team.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Sure you do.
That was my name growing up. I switched to Dan in my teen years.
You shoot like Danny?
Oh, no.
Uh-oh, John. All right, John.
I don't even know what this is. Could this be Boys to Men?
Yes, that is Water Runs Dry.
All right.
I know exactly what that is. That's got I'll Make Love to You, Song to Mama, On Bended Knee.
All right, so that's Al at 4-4. All right, Dave.
Al got Boys to Men. Wait, get that Al. Boys to Men, On Bended Knee.
Dave at 1-7 got Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Oh, wow,
Ooh, what is that? Is that a single?
No, no. Creeping on the Come Up.
Oh, nice.
What I used to do, I used to flip all my actual covers. I used to flip all the covers and put I like this picture better.
Okay.
So I would flip my covers and then put
Is that first of the month on there? Thuggish Ruggish Bone?
Thuggish Ruggish Bone, yeah.
Oh, Thuggish Ruggish Bone. That's the jam right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a nice one. Whose was that?
That was Dave.
Nice, Dave. Bone Thugs and Harmony.
All right. We got Tony at 113. We got what is this? Is this Dr. Dre?
Yeah, that's Aftermath. That's Dr. Dre. That's Keep the Heads Ringing. Ding, ding, dong. Ding.
Is that on his old or his own?
You have any Curtis Blow?
That's just him.
He might. You'd be surprised. John's got all kinds
Grandmaster
of stuff.
Flash.
I got to get the cassettes out of the attic and double.
See, Al says he used to do that too with the CDs, man.
See? All right, then we got Dan 2-4. We got Silk.
Whoa, Freak You? Every freaking day.
No, that was Jodeci.
No, not
Freaking You?
No, Freak You. Silk. Ain't Silk Freak You?
Freak Me.
Freak Me. That's it.
Whatever.
No, but you started singing Freaking You.
Yeah, I started singing Jodeci. That's every freaking way. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Silk. Wow.
Andre. I don't even know what's on this, but this is the original Gangster soundtrack.
I bet you Ice-T's on that. Is Ice-T on there?
You got Ice-T when he did Heavy Metal?
Wow, Ice-T when he did Heavy Metal.
Well, one, I need glasses because I can't see this.
Yeah, John, you're blind as hell, dude. What's wrong with you?
I am nowadays.
Look at him.
I don't need. I can't even tell you. Somebody go Google it. All I know is it wasn't very good. There was maybe one song.
It could be that. It's probably Mac 10.
Then all right, Rich. Look, there was a lot of choices from one, and once upon a time I had some things alphabetical. So Dave went 1-7 with Bone Thugs and Harmony, so we got 1-8. Bone Thugs and Harmony, 1999 Eternal.
Wow, that's what's the can you I know you can't see, but can you throw me a couple tracks off of that? What was
Crossroad?
That's Crossroads, right? Yep. See you at the Crossroads. First of the month, yeah. It's the first of the month. They're a very underrated group.
Mr. Luigi, are you with me?
Yeah. Lazy Bone, Crazy Bone. They got them all, man. I love
Who would you compare them to? Bones Thugs. Who would you compare them to if you had to another R&B group, or not R&B, hip hop group?
Bone Thugs. They had such their own style. That would be tough for me, man. Maybe Das Effects. Only because Das Effects had the, bump skitty bump, remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Das Effects, their second album was very underrated, man. Real hip hop. It was very, very, very underrated. But yeah, because they just have such a unique style. Maybe Boot Camp Click. I don't know if you guys or the Beat Nuts. If you guys are familiar with them, Brand Nubian. Got people that have real. I mean, Brand Nubian with Grand Puba, man. That was a all for one for all. I mean, that's some good stuff right there, man.
Dude, I'll tell you what. I remember sitting in 7th grade geometry, trying to write down all the words to "They Want Effects" by Das Effects.
Oh my God!
All the nonsense lyrics that are in there, and I remember sitting in geometry class, just like going through my head all the stuff, and like, all right. This was like before internet, when you can just Google, what's the lyrics to this song?
Yeah, you couldn't find it on
your electronic devices, and it just reads off exactly what they say. You can't
go on YouTube where you're watching the video and the lyrics are like a karaoke machine coming across. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is where you sit in your bedroom and keep hitting rewind on the tape. All right, let me play it again.
Yes.
What did he say? Oh, hold on. Let me rewind that. Play it again.
That's why we know so much music, John. I mean, seriously, that's why we're so invested in it, because that's the kind of shit that we did. The kids don't do that nowadays. Everything's given to them.
I'm impressed you had geometry in 7th grade.
I was thinking the same thing. I really was. I'm like, I didn't have it till 10th grade.
Me too. That was, I had Frank Winfelder.
Shout out to Mr. Gentili.
Mr. Frank Winfelder, that was my teacher. Hey, he used to get up on the top of the desk the first day and pretend he was like Superman. He was really weird.
I know more about geometry than this topic, and I knew nothing about geometry.
Look, Al says before we go, he says, we have to ask John how he's feeling about his team now. Yeah, let's end on that real fast. John, 11-2 now, brother. The window's a little open for some people. Are you having any doubts about Pittsburgh or what?
The doubts were there 4 weeks ago.
I will give you that. You did say that.
Are they a playoff team? Yes. Are they not playing well right now? Yes. They had no Joe Hayden last week. I'm not saying that was the only problem by any means. I think there's a lot of people that were complete idiots that think Marquise Pouncey coming back from like a 1 or 2 week hiatus and James Conner, same thing, coming back, is all of a sudden going to create a run game that has been non-existent all year long. Like, they were there all year and there wasn't a run game. There's no holes opened up for the run game. We're not even trying to go deep half the time. And the passing game is just too predictable. I mean, you look at the final score of that game, I'm saying the Steelers were outplayed, but if it's not a Big Ben pick six, it's a whole different ball game. I'm not saying that they don't just eke by again. Look, no Joe Hayden. They lost so many guys. It's no excuse. Every team loses guys, but losing 9 sacks, losing your all-pro middle linebacker, losing his backup. We have a safety starting at linebacker. All right, so that's not good. We were down to our last offensive lineman in that game because 2 went down with injury. I mean, look, injuries happen, plain and simple. You got to overcome it. I don't know. I'm not feeling good about them, but do I think that Yeah, I'll tell you what, there's nothing that cures a losing streak like the Bengals. So that's one thing that you have to, even though it's not the Browns and the Bengals, it's the Bengals at least. Hopefully they can turn it around. Defense is still really good, but they got to play better, plain and simple, and they can't be so predictable on offense. The Eagles with Wentz behind center.
Al says, "Would you lose your mind if they lose in the first round?"
I'm going to lose my mind if the season ends on a loss. I mean, I don't care if it's the first round, second round, AFC Championship game.
That is well put, John. That is
He's a fan, man.
It's always devastating, no matter when it happens. You're happy you make the playoffs. You lose in the first round, it stinks. You know what I mean? You lose in the second round, it doesn't feel any better. You lose in the championship game, it's like, man, we were so close. Does that make you feel any better or worse than a first round loss? Like, I don't know.
Remember what Bull Hurley said in Over the Top? Second sucks.
Yeah.
Right? Remember? Is that your old man? Second sucks.
Yeah.
So Bull Hurley knew, man. He knew. Yeah. But on that note, I want to thank everybody for joining in. We are under we just hit the 2-hour mark. Man, I was trying, fellas. I was trying. But listen, I'll tell you what, like I say every week, we, again, over 200 comments. I mean, that's where it comes from. You guys are a part of this show. If everybody checking out the NBA preview, me, Al, and Andre did fantastic. Al is a very passionate NBA analyst, and Andre knows his stuff, dropping A-bombs left and right. It was great to hang out with those guys, and we're going to do NBA shows once every couple weeks. We're going to do recaps of the Sixers and for half the show, and look at the NBA. Dan is going to start talking some NHL, and actually our buddy Jason Sullivan hit me up and was like, listen, I would love to have a show just me and Dan doing some NHL. So I'm going to get the boys in, man. The boys are going to ride solo here. This isn't like other. I love it. They're going to ride solo. I'm ready. We're ready. They're going to talk some NHL. It's not like other networks where one guy runs everything. So I want to get everybody involved. And again, if you're a listener and you're an avid listener, we need those ratings. We need those reviews. We've been stuck at the same number for X amount of times. It's very easy. It takes you 5 minutes. Go on iTunes. Find the Heat Ratio, click on the 5-star, and give us a quick review. That's all we ask. If you can, be greatly appreciated. It means a lot for a lot of things you want to do in 2021, whether it be sponsorships, whether it be promotions. I have a lot of stuff that I want to try to get you guys, giveaways, jerseys, things of that nature, but we need to support and able to do that. So, as always, Dan, Dave, John, thank you for joining us as a quad box. I love it. All four of us did a tremendous job. And listen, go Birds, go Sixers, go Phillies, go Flyers. Stay safe, stay healthy. See you next week.
Peace.